Heaven is far beyond our third dimensional reality, an infinite dimension. Our disc shaped point of view. Think stars came first. The Bible and the Hypatia stone say otherwise. Where were the first humans? The Garden of Eden. And where was the Garden of Eden? Between Tigris and Euphrates. And where is the archaeological ruins of the birthplace of civilization? Mesopotamia, between Tigris and Euphrates. Nearly 6,000 years ago, Sumerians invented the system of time. Based on 60, they invented seconds, minutes, hours, into days, even 60 based years of 360 days. Our Gregorian calendar is 2020. The Hebrew calendar is 5778, dating back to when time had begun to be measured. Let's not forget the Garden of Eden was in heaven, beyond our third dimensional reality of space-time, until Adam and Eve ate the fruit and by that sin separated from God's infinite eternal dimension. Nearly 4,000 years old is the ancient Sumerian kings list, and a story much like Noah's Ark. Those before the flood lived long lives similar to the Bible's records. Remember, things written in stone have often been less accurate than the Bible. We'll talk about the Merneptah Stele and Moabite stone later. So while the King's List holds different names, it hasn't the track record of his holy word, always proven right and never proven wrong. But that the birthplace of written language and system of time tells the same story of Noah's Ark, just a little different, that's awesome. The Bible speaks of the Leviathan and Behemoth. Was the behemoth any of the suggested identities? Elephant, hippopotamus, rhinoceros, or buffalo? No! Do any of those move their tails like a cedar tree? No! The only thing throughout all history that would have a tail moving like a cedar tree is a dinosaur, like Brontosaurus. What if the Bible spoke much of dinosaurs? Then you would have over 4,000 years of people having no idea what the Bible was talking about when it spoke of dinosaurs, because the first dinosaur bones were not discovered until 1819 by William Buckland. Yet still, the Bible speaks of the behemoth and has for over 4,000 years. Many stories in the Middle East and from Native Americans tell of a time the world ended by a great flood. Recent discoveries show dinosaurs were wiped out in one day by a flood. Fossils piled in one place, fossils on the tops of the highest mountains, so on, etc. Scientists have changed their asteroid impact theory to asteroid impact created a world flood theory. Maybe they are right, but the proof of the whole planet covered in water is inevitable. Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. From Ham came Cush, which is written about in the Sumerian Kings List, and from Ham came Canaan, which formed the land of Canaan, and Mizraim, which is where Egypt came from, Nimrod, Babylonia, and more. From Japheth came Javan, which is where Greece comes from, and more. And from Shem came Arphaxad, Shala, Eber, Peleg, Ru, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and Abram, which is spoken of in the Ebla tablets, proof of Ur, Chaldeans, and Sodom and Gomorrah. And from Abraham came Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, whom is referred to in the Bible as the Pharaoh's right-hand man. And there are ancient ruins that have ancient graffiti written on it, the Pharaoh's right-hand man, which is where the people whom had built the pyramids lived at. Moses and the Plagues, recorded by Egyptians on Ipuwer papyrus. Israelites invade Canaan, recorded by Egyptians on Amarna letters. Then there's Solomon's Temple, which was discovered after an earthquake in 1923, revealed under the Temple Mount, cedar wood pillars carbon dated to 900 BC. The picture remained, but the Muslims have since bulldozed under the Temple Mount, and restrictions on exhibitions have only recently permitted archaeologists to explore through the rubble debris, from which many bulla have been discovered. Then there's Goliath and the Gath inscriptions, proof of Goliath, the city he was from, and David is recorded on the Tel Dan inscription, and of David's house recorded on the Moabite stone. 2 Kings chapter 3 verses 4 through 8 is more accurate than the Moabite stone, or the Tel Dan inscription. As the stone records, Moab wiped out the house of David. Similar, Egypt's Merneptah Stele records Egypt removed Israel from the face of the earth. Yet Israel was not wiped out, showing the Bible is more accurate than these that are written in stone. Israel's, Judah's, and kings in opposition to Israel and Judah, dating as far back as 900 BC, are proven by non-biblical resources as inevitable historical fact. The list of archaeology and the kings is long. I'm just going to name a few of them. Jeroboam I, Rehoboam, Nadab, Abiah, Omri and Ahab, which I like because they're on the Moabite stone, Jehoshaphat, Ahaziah, Jehoram, Ahaziah, Athaliah, and Jehu, which is on the black obelisk, which is really cool because Elijah was told by God himself to anoint Jehu, the king of Israel. Jehoash, Jehoahaz, Amaziah, Jeroboam II, Zechariah, Shalom, Uzziah, Menachem, Pekahiah, and Pekah, Jotham, Hoshea, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Amon, Josiah, Jehoahaz, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, and Zedekiah, all proven historical figures. The proof of Jesus Christ, fulfilling prophecy. Prophecies as far back as before time began to be measured. Prophecies from Israel, Jacob himself prophesied of Shiloh, the Lion of Judah, and the scepter was removed 1st century AD, a few years after Christ's birth. Proof that he was fulfilling the prophecy that he is Shiloh, he is the Messiah. And 1st century AD, proof of his crucifixion from Roman historian Josephus Flavius and many more Roman historians, Pliny the Younger, Suetonius, Celsus, Talmud, Thallus, Tacitus, Bar Serapion, and Phlegon. Like the prophecy from Genesis 49:10 of Shiloh, the Messiah fulfilled this prophecy, and it is documented historically, as are many fulfilled prophecies by Jesus Christ, whom fulfilled over 300 Old Testament prophecies. The mathematical calculations of one man fulfilling 8 of the prophecies is the probability factor of 1 in 10 to the 17th power. Nearly impossible to fulfill 8 prophecies, but Jesus fulfilled over 300, or should I say, all of them. Prophecies fulfilled, prophecies being fulfilled, and prophecies yet to be fulfilled. The abomination of desolation was spoken of 3 times. The abomination of desolation was spoken of 3 times by the prophet Daniel in 620 to 538 BC. It appeared to have happened 3 times by Antiochus Epiphanes between 215 and 164 BC. The falling of the Second Temple, the building the Muslims did of the dome on the rock. But in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verses 3 and 4 it reads, "Let no one in any way deceive you, for it will not come unless the apostasy comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above every so-called God or object of worship. So he takes his seat in the temple of God, displaying himself as being God." So that prophecy has not been fulfilled yet. But then there is the Israel has been restored as a nation in 1948. This fulfills prophecies of Amos 9, Ezekiel 37, Isaiah 66, 6 and Jeremiah 16. It is also a sign of end times. And so is that being fulfilled of the mark used to buy and sell, and more to come before the day of the Lord, after which the Messiah shall reign for 1,000 years.